Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're watching Batman on film.
I have given a name to my pain. The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill the Bat of Gotham.
You don't really think you'll win, do you?
I'm Batman.
Hey now, welcome to episode 59 of the Batman on Film vlog. I am the founder of Batman on Film, Bill Jett Ramey, and with me returning is Garret Grev. So we got Minneapolis, the Twin Cities, Minnesota repping, of course, and then and for the first time, a few rocks, down the road, tosses down the road. To the south is Ryan Lauer. From Chicago.
From Chicago, yeah. Nolan's Gotham.
Yes. So, well, first time on, Ryan. So whenever I have someone on for the first time, I do this rapid fire questions. You just got to answer. You just got to answer. You can't. There's no thinking involved. We got to answer. All right. You ready?
All right.
You ready?
Got it.
All right. Here we go. Favorite comic book Batman story.
The Long Halloween.
Favorite live action Batman actor.
Christian Bale.
Favorite live action Batman movie.
The Dark Knight.
Favorite Batman animated movie.
Mask of the Phantasm.
Favorite animated Batman TV series.
Animated series. I guess, you know what I mean, 90s
Yes,
show.
the Batman the animated series. All right.
Yes.
Favorite Batman comic book writer of all time.
Strange Apparitions.
In
In the 70s.
Steve Englehart.
Yes, there you go. Steve
Okay.
Englehart, yep.
Favorite Batman comic book artist of all time.
Oh my gosh. That's tough. It's a tie.
Okay.
Norm Brayfogle and Lee Bermejo.
Okay. Shout out to Lee.
Ooh.
Shout out to my friend Lee Bermejo. All right. Your most prized Batman collectible merchandise, whatever. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So my fiance actually, she got me, I'd show it, but I might screw up how I'm framed. So it's a bat shelf. My fiance got for me it's in the shape of a bat symbol, and it's massive. I think I've paraded it on Twitter a lot. I think Garrett's seen it.
I've seen
too
it.
many
Yeah,
times to
Yeah.
count.
I think I've seen it. Yeah.
I think that's probably my favorite piece because it's so unique, and I've never seen it before.
Okay. And finally, what's your BOF story? How'd you get
My
involved?
BOF story?
Yeah. When did you find BOF and the whole?
It was back when, probably, I think 2002, when it was really hitting up that a Batman movie was finally coming because I'd never seen a Batman movie in theaters.
So you're going You're going 18 years here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
okay.
I kept going to movies.com because that was my only source of anything movies, and that was the only thing I could find. And then somehow through that, I found this Texan that was all about Batman, and
Yes.
his mindset and his opinion of the character really agreed with mine. So that's when I started following, and
Cool.
that's kind of was my go-to. And then in 2017, you reached out anybody that wanted to review All-Star Batman.
Yeah.
And I think I responded within 60 seconds of you posting, and I was like, I would gladly review, and then I've gotten to review ever since.
All right. Very good. And you got speaking of Lee Bermejo, you met him.
Oh my God.
You met Lee because I said, Lee, I got my buddy of mine is gonna come see you at a comic book store. So yeah. So
that was awesome. I'm really curious what his honest opinion of me was because it was a mad rush because it was in my lunch break in Chicago and nothing is quick in Chicago. So it was a hot day and I was running and I finally got in the shop and I'm all sweaty and I'm just like, Haley, Ryan. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing. But he was cool, nice as ever. He had a plane that he had to catch, but he was just like, oh no, man, let's just ask your questions. That's fine. I'm like, but you've got a plane to catch. And he's like, nah, go ahead. So I asked him questions. I sounded like a nerd, but it was awesome. It was great. I never, ever thought that I would meet Lieber Mayhew, especially knowing that he lives overseas. Yeah. And if he comes back, it's like, on one of the coasts, which I never make it to. So, yeah, that was the highlight. So, thank you, Bill.
Yeah, that interview is on Batman on Film. I'll link to it on this vlog. So
please do.
If anybody hasn't seen it, Lee's been good to Batman on Film for years. And
he finally cleared up that question of everybody asked, did he influence Nolan or did Nolan influence him on his Joker drawing?
Yeah.
And he didn't, or they didn't influence him. That was a Lieber Mayhew original.
It was before the Dark Knight, before Ledger. Yeah, actually was. It was. So, all right, what we're going to do is today we're going to talk about Ryan, you may know this, or Garret, I don't know, what's the exact, it's less than a minute, this clip, this quote-unquote camera test of
57 seconds.
Okay, of basically what it is it's Matt Reeves our first look at via Matt Reeves through video, our first look of Robert Pattinson in the Batman costume as Batman. And we're going to watch, what we're going to do is, y'all, if you're watching, all three of us are going to watch it together. We'll react, we may say a few things, and then we'll talk about the actual video afterwards. So, boys, cue up your video.
Ready.
Ready.
All right. And let me find mine. All right. And 3, 2, 1, hit play. That music. That music.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I watched this with my 3 oldest boys huddled around me, and just as close as they could get.
I've seen it. I've watched it over and over again.
I can't even tell you how many times I've seen it.
It's just, I mean,
yeah.
And you get the move.
Right here. Yeah, right here.
Yep.
Right here. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool.
Wow.
It's cool. It's a cool way to do it. Like, even if you don't love everything you see, like, immediately, stylistically, or the choices, it's just such a cool way to handle this stuff.
I said this the other day on Twitter when I said we're gonna talk about this today. I have seen every reveal of every Batman and every Batman costume since 1988 when I picked up an issue of Starlog at a Walden Books at Central Mall in Port Arthur, Texas, and on the cover and inside was the first picture of Michael Keaton as Batman, the one with him by the Batmobile. This, to me, it was the best reveal I've ever seen.
Yeah. The way I really like the way Warner Brothers is getting this information out to fans and how they're doing it through the directors, because I feel like it's doing a different thing than what Disney and Marvel has done with their content, where it's a big kind of formalized, publicized, here's this venue thing. This is it feels more intimate. It's not, right? This is Twitter. There are millions of people. This is a director that has, a countless number of followers. Everybody's rapidly waiting for this stuff, but it feels more personal, like it's being debuted for, for us, the fans that are really waiting for it. And then the rest of the media does the work for them. Yahoo's the story, CNN, really big news sites. Yeah. So it has that same, it ends up having that same mass-wide distribution, but it starts as kind of this intimate, here's this little present I have for you thing directly from the creators, and I just think that's such a rad way to go about it.
I love the way he's been dropping this stuff, via Twitter ever since. I mean, for goodness sakes, he told us who was in the movie, villain-wise, with a picture from a exhibit of the '60s series. Yeah. And no one knew at the time that son of a gun was telling us it was right there in front of us. So And I'm asking you, Ryan, what was your, just initial thoughts about it,
So my initial thoughts, because I just gotten off Twitter because I was at work, and so I got my focus back to work, and a friend came running at me across the way, his eyes big and all that, and I'm like, what? And I go, oh, hell, Batman. And so then I got on my computer, and he got to watch me watch it. Nobody's ever gotten to do that before. See my reaction to a first viewing of Batman, and when the music started, so what? We're 5 seconds, 6 seconds in, haven't even seen anything yet, and just hearing that music. And I already went, oh, my God, I love that music. And then I thought it was just kind of brilliant of the blurry and then coming into focus. And the first part in focus is the symbol. And I just thought overall, all the way up to the cow, which we can go more in depth. I was just like, oh, my gosh, this is awesome. I thought I like to liken it back to the Todd Phillips Joker screen test, camera test of such it gave you the mood. That test that sold me on the movie right then and there. And I'd been questioning it up to that point because it just kind of said so much. This is probably what he's going to look like. Here's the music, the tone. And I thought that's exactly what Reeves did here in a sense. It's kind of like, this is probably roughly what he's going to look like, if not exactly. Here's the mood. Listen to that music. And it's just kind of like, yep, like, I'm in.
Yeah, Garrett. What about you?
Yeah, it for me, you start in black, and then the camera, the way it kind of shifts in and comes back out. These are movie makers, right? These are intentional choices. Yeah. So as the figure's out of frame, blurs into frame, and then comes into focus, it's really, I don't know. For me, it felt like as a member of the audience, I'm doing the same thing with what this Batman's going to be. I have no idea. It's a little bit confusing, and now we're starting to get clarity. So, like, the movement of the camera and the focus of the lens felt a lot like what I'm feeling as a Batman fan, trying to figure out what we're going to get, right? And in I want something left, right? Like, I sort of like the tease. I was the kid that never wanted to open his presents before Christmas morning. Like, the anticipation is what I love. So I love that we didn't get everything here. We get a view. We know something's happening. We get enough to get a feel for the direction and the approach and some nuances of the costume. But we don't get the whole costume, and you don't get to see those ears yet. You gotta wait for for the whole shebang here. Yeah. So I appreciated how confident it was. I think how artistic it really was, and then I appreciated the restraint because we got a little ways to go. Don't give me it all right now. Right?
Absolutely.
We got to string this along a little bit.
Yeah. We got a year and what, 4 months, something like that. So okay. So let's get to some specific details here. Ryan mentioned the chest bat symbol comes into focus first. So boys, it's a little different than what we're used to. In a variety of ways. It also, to me, and I'm gonna throw it out to you two, it reminds me of a kind of maybe a modern take homage to the 1939 logo from from Detective Comics 27, because the original didn't have the head and the ears. It just had the wings. And this is there is no bat head on that, but there is clearly the bat wings. So I just don't know if that's just happenstance. They didn't intentionally, toss a bone to that particular incarnation of Batman. So, Ryan, any thoughts? The logo, that's just in general. Besides what I asked about, besides my take on it.
The logo caught me a little off guard because I'm used to, whether it's not the Team Yellow Oval, shout out to Pete Vera, or the Nolan trilogy symbol. It's always like bat symbol, and that to me is it's not clear cut of that's a bat symbol. And so I was like, okay, it wasn't any kind of overreaction because it's like, it's a camera test. Maybe the movie's going to work toward a symbol change. I don't know. Like, it's all right. That's kind of just where I'm at of like, oh, all right.
Okay.
I didn't even
Garrett?
know
Yeah.
the 39 version of it. Like it didn't.
Oh, yeah.
I think you were the first one that said something on Twitter that I'd seen, and so of course I went back and looked, and I'm like, wow, yeah, I didn't even
Yeah.
recognize.
Yeah. Yeah. Garrett.
Yeah, I kind of had that thought too. So I saw it and I'm like, well, there's no, yeah. I mean, it's sort of implying the shape of a bat. I see the wings, and like that's similar to some of the older, bat costumes and the symbols. You see these things on like Tumblr, or they'll pop up on Twitter every once in a while where someone will post like the evolution of a comic book character's symbol or suit, and I always love those. And I sort of, particularly where you see the bat symbol over time, it'll have the dates and what it was and the changes all the way through the movies and everything else. And I remember it's always stood out to me like, man, originally the bat symbol didn't have a head. And really, it looked a bit more like a bat than, like, I mean, we all recognize the symbol, but can anybody really tell me that looks like a bat? No, it looks like the Batman symbol.
Yeah,
it doesn't really look like a bats don't look like this. I've seen a bat.
It's
an
iconic. It's an iconic image, and you think Batman when you see it. Absolutely, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you don't think that's what a bat looks like. But
No.
if you see a bat in flight, it's more of the silhouette of the wings.
Yeah.
You can't really make out all these distinct little points, but it would look more similar to a bat in flight like the original symbol did. So I think there probably is. These are filmmakers making intentional choices, so I assume that's an intentional choice. The thing that popped into my mind, and I don't know, I haven't worked all the way around it, is I wondered, and then I couldn't get that far with the thought, what if this Batman symbol didn't intend to look like a bat symbol? What if people in this movie universe see this thing on its chest, and I'm sure we'll get into the speculation about what that thing is, and in their mind, because of everything else, they see the bat symbol. But it didn't start out as an intentional bat symbol by Bruce Wayne. Other people saw that and said, oh, he's got a bat symbol on his chest.
Yeah.
So I don't know how far to get with that, because I think, he's clearly going to have a cape, and the ears are going to be there, so he's doing a bat motif. So maybe to stop short of having this intentionally be a bat thing might be a little bit weird, but you can certainly see how that would be a bat symbol.
We're gonna just real quick on this theory hypothesis that's popped up online about is part of it like two stocks or half stocks of a gun, of a pistol, and then the theory is he using the part of the weapon that killed his parents to on his chest as part of this this symbol. Maybe he's turned it into some sort of bat weapon of some sort, a batarang or whatever. I think it comes from Detective Comics 1000. Kevin Smith wrote a story and incorporated that into it. Personally, I think I just find it a little fanish. It's something a fan maybe would think is really would be cool. I don't know. There's a little cheese factor, and this is just me. For it to literally be the gun. Wouldn't that gun still be in Gotham City Police possession and evidence?
Evidence.
Yeah. So, what y'all's take? I mean, it's not a deal. Me and Garrett texted about it. I said, look, it's not my preference, but it's certainly not a deal breaker for me whatsoever.
So in Detective 1000, I thought that story really worked, and it's real Kevin Smithy, and I say that with a lot of respect for Kevin Smith. I love Kevin Smith.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Dopey stoner comedies are funny. I think a lot of his comic book, his Daredevil run was great. Like he's a skilled writer, but he does have this sort of gee whiz slack jaw, isn't that cool? A little bit over the top approach to some of these things. And the story really worked in the comic because of the way the artwork focused and how the symbol was sort of highlighted and how you saw different enemies kind of aim and hit in that area. And this is this thing that he took and owned, and now it's his protector. It's, he's taking it back, so to speak.
And he actually, in the comic book, he melted it and then made it part of the armor. Yeah.
Underneath the symbol. It wasn't the symbol, it was the thing underneath the symbol.
Yeah.
So I tend to agree. It feels a little just a little goofy to me, just a little cheesy. I can understand why people would think it's cool symbolically.
Yeah, I mean, I respect that. I respect that. I'm just saying it's my opinion. Ryan, what's your take if that was the case?
Mine is just like a little more simple in the sense of like it's hard for me to think that Matt Reeves, who's been signed on to direct since 2017, read Detective Comics 1000 and thought, I know what to do with the bat symbol, and that's where he drew inspiration. Like, I feel like he had a handle on what he was doing before he read that last year. Clearly, I don't know. I'll ask him when I go to lunch with him this week.
Yes.
But I highly doubt, or it doesn't seem
that's a great point.
Dude, it is.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean,
you guys have a good day. I'm out.
Yes.
Not going to top that anymore.
Well done. To me, so I looked at it, and I sort of, my dad is a outdoors guy. We grew up in the deep woods of Minnesota, and we went hunting, and was familiar with guns of all sorts, right?
Yeah.
And when I looked at it, I said to myself, well, I guess I could kind of see it, but it's not obvious to me. I don't see a trigger. Like, you'd have to take away the finger guard, the trigger comes off. You'd have to very intentionally slice it just so. And I sent it to my one of my best friends, who is a police officer, very familiar with handguns. And he's like, yeah, I could maybe see it. Could be some sort of Derringer. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, a Derringer. I'm right with you. But he's like, just because these clip shapes is the only thing, that could mean anything. I'm not sold on it. But he thought it was a really cool idea. So it clearly would click for some people.
Yeah.
I just don't know how likely it is. But it's fun to speculate.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So moving on, we'll expand from the bat symbol, bat logo to clearly it's got armor. This suit includes armor. It's not a cloth-based Kevlar type suit. I kind of suspected. What's the word I want to use? Maybe guessed they might have gone like a Captain America type. The armored cloth-looking Kevlar thing, but he's clearly got some sort of armor that's got some technology involved with it, But also, and I think we have to bring this in as well. The cowl is very homemade. I mean, it is homemade. You can see the stitching in it.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of some technology of some sort, but also him putting stuff together, and it comes and that's what I'd heard. It's going to come off that's something that he put together.
Build your own Batsuit.
He built it. So, Ryan, just combined with the cowl being what it is, and then the
GCPD is coming.
Yeah,
out.
they are coming, and then the. And then the technology part of what looks the armor of the body armor. Thoughts? Yeah.
I instantly thought Arkham, the Arkham series games. I felt they just did the cloth with Affleck, so I feel that it didn't surprise me that they go back to an armor for this new iteration. Also, I like the cloth look in comics and stuff. I like the armored look in live action. To me, that just makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
The Gotham by Gaslight collar, I really dig that.
I have an idea about that. I'll bring up in just a second. So go ahead.
I kind of do too. I thought there was something in. I can't remember if it was Long Halloween or Dark Victory, where he has an extra. He almost gets hanged. The hangman is Dark Victory. Sorry, the trapped. But he has a collar that helped protect him from actually getting hung. And Reeves is inspired by Tim Sale. So
I'll throw it in. I think it was. I thought it was some sort of protective, device like a neck roll.
Yep.
That football players wear. And from back when I played and then through coaching. They look more like what it looks like in this costume now.
Right.
Yep.
When I played, Garrett, I had the old '80s rounded one. Yeah.
I had one of those when I played too.
Yeah. So
I was playing in probably a little bit before. Well, I played in college in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, and I had that just up that high, and it protects your head and neck if you go back, and just. this is a guy bracing to take some hits.
Yeah, so we're
That would be-
okay. We're all on the same. We're on the same
Yeah.
page with that. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
The
cool.
cowl,
Continue.
I feel like that we got to give it. There's a lot of hot takes, and I feel like it's got to be moving towards something. And so I kind of feel like the cowl is incomplete because we saw the stitching and there was like an indent. I know it's really nerdy to me to comment on a dent on the mask, but it did look homemade, but in a sense of like, oh, this isn't. It just to me didn't feel like this is the final cowl, and we didn't see the ears for a reason.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody just that is possibly panicking. It's like, as we always know, just like, hey, just take a breath. Like, it'll resolve itself somehow. We'll get a different cowl probably. Like, that's just kind of what I thought with the cowl.
Even if it's this cowl, I like the fact that it's not this molded, sculpted,
Yeah.
rubber, quote unquote, with the with the anger frown lines built in. It's homemade,
Yeah.
and so I wouldn't have any problem with if it stayed like that through the entire movie, but I wouldn't be surprised if he upgrades. He may upgrade this. He may upgrade this Joker, no pun intended, throughout the film. As things go along. So, Garrett, what's your thoughts about that combination of tech and homemadeness? Homemade.
No.
Is that a word?
Homemade.
Yeah, it is now.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure, absolutely. You should get a trademark on that bad boy. I liked it. I think it's interesting. I'm interested to see how everything works together because it was, and I think I either texted you last night or maybe it was on the Facebook group, and I was like, it's a little bit more high tech than I thought with the moving plates of armor throughout the upper chest.
Yeah. Okay.
But only because it reminded me of how sort of the more robo-techy armor from Arkham Asylum moved, and that had sort of this robotic piece underneath it. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I don't think the robot pieces are a part of this. I think it's more of sliding plate armor that has, some joints and allows some ability to move, which is great. And and if you think about like, all right, well, presumably there is a need in the real world, just like in Batman Begins, for some sort of tactical body armor to be something that exists. But I bet it doesn't come with a bat-shaped helmet to wear. So you're going to have to go make your own, right? That piece that you're going to have to do on your own.
Great point. Yeah.
You can find some armor, but if you want to look like a Bat Bruce, well, you're on your own on that one. Or at least you have to have Alfred stitch it up for you.
Yeah.
So I really like, and I think it makes sense that would be the piece that's very homemade, looking seemingly more tech if that's stitched leather or whatever the material is. And then the chest, the armor piece is a little bit more technical, a little bit something more that would have to be manufactured someplace else, and then obviously modified because I'm guessing the chest piece, that's not factory, that's aftermarket upgrade. So I thought it was great. I think it's a really cool combination. We'll see where it goes.
We haven't seen the cape yet. We've seen we've seen it. There's a cape. It's attached. We see it.
No real details.
We don't know how it looks, below the chest part, which that's cool. We haven't seen the ears yet. Heard they're big, but and long. So we'll see. But let's just finish up here and talk about. And I know it's short, and I know part of it's blurry, and I know it's really red.
So can we say the red thing, Bill?
Go ahead. Yeah.
So So when we got the marker that they were officially, going in filming, and I think the conversation was about so much of, is that typeface the official logo, the Batman? So stylized, and it sort of had this fade effect on some of the pieces of the letters. And I think Bill, you and I talked about it.
We talked about it on the last vlog. Yeah,
we said the red's kind of a surprise. That's not something you typically associate with Batman. And then separately, Lauer, for Batman Book Club, we talked about Dark Victory, and that has a lot of the collected covers have this red sort of washed out view. And then here, so I was thinking about like Batman and red. This isn't something I normally think about, but I'm seeing it here because that was right around the same time frame. And then this releases, and it's that red light filter, and people immediately jump to this looks like Daredevil. It's just red lighting.
I thought that was ridiculous just because it's a red light. But okay, never mind. Sorry.
So It makes me wonder what does the color red mean for Matt
It means
Reeves
it's got to mean something. It's obvious that they used a red light for this filter and so forth for this particular reveal. It's got to have some. It has to mean something, and it can't now be a coincidence that that logo we saw on the clapper was red. You know,
right?
And much more like we talked about, and Ryan chime in. What Garret and I said, that logo on that clapper was way more detailed font wise than you would get. Like usually it's just just block lettering. The Dark Knight Rises or whatever the movie is. This one has got a little style and.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
A clear choice was made.
Yeah. Yes.
So everything that Reeves does, he's very selective in what he's releasing. He's very selective in what he's tweeting. To where I've just taken, he's not tweeting, 1,500 times a day, not even once a day. So like, I just take it as whatever it's coming out of his Twitter account. Like every factor of it is for a reason, and so. Now, coincidence, the slate we saw had red with the Batman, and then this has a red light over the Batman. It's kind of like, and red and black is an awesome, sleek color blend.
Yeah.
So, it's funny you say that, Lauer, because when I got the notification that he tweeted, I'm like, this dude hasn't, excuse me, like, he's not just tweeting. He's not like, hey, look what I made for lunch, or headed to the DMV, not looking forward to this. Like, everything he's tweeting right now is some sort of information or reveal or something. He hadn't tweeted, I think, since the scene placard. And so I saw the notification. I was like, I couldn't click on it fast enough. And in my mind, I'm like, is this it? Are we going to get the view? Like, Birds of Prey has opened. Bill, we talked about post Birds of Prey. You've been saying that for some time. Like, is this it? And it sure as heck was.
You know what? And I think I saw either you text me or I saw it on the Facebook, and it was almost instantaneously after he put it up. And I watched it. And I said, "Holy shit!" He's, and I'm watching it. And I'm like, okay, first he's doing it with a video, not a publicity still.
Right.
Yep.
And then I'm like, as you see it blurred, I went, okay, they're just going to leave it that ambiguous. And then that freaking chest bat logo comes clear, and then you see him. I said, and it's like, man, he went further with this than I thought that they were going to, in one
that music.
aspect. Yeah, and the music, fantastic. All right, back, we got the red. Pattinson.
Yep.
What struck me is really not necessarily the suit at all. It was the way he was moving.
Yeah.
Though the facial expression you see with really his mouth. Now you can see at one point, especially with the different filters, you can see his eyes. So his eyes are blinking.
No lenses.
No lenses, Garret. But just
sorry, Garret.
The way he moves. Is it just me, or did that strike you all as well? Because I thought it was very. And I know there was a slowdown of the video as well, but still, it was just. It looked he was owning that role already.
Oh man,
to me, yeah. So all right, boys, thoughts.
It goes back to a little bit of the intentional choice because, you start with this figure kind of out of focus, and he walks in, and you see him sort of like shrug the shoulders up, just kind of like flexing a little bit, like owning the role. Like get kind of moving around. I'm comfortable here. And then this is just kind of how dorky I can get. But I'm like, as I've rewatched it all these times, I'm watching his head motion and the face and the little expression that we get. But remember when, whatever about Affleck's time and role, but the first still we got, he was sad, he was pouty, and the face was down, and I thought it was an awesome shot, but then it kind of, people, like they do, ran wild with it.
Yeah, I thought it was a great shot, too.
And it turned into a meme. So he was kind of, Pattinson kind of had this thing where his head's tilted down, and at the end he lifts up and raises his chin just a bit and kind of starts to turn his head. And I was like, that makes a big difference. It's not just sad Batman here. This is emotive Batman. It is a bit, it felt like reserved but resolved. and sort of looking
confident,
right?
Yeah,
Like there is a little, it was for not having a lot of facial movement and no words. It had some swagger to it. And
Yeah.
I thought it struck the right balance.
Swagger, great. Yes, Ryan.
I can't add anything to it. I mean, I just.
Oh, sure you
I
can.
liked
Come
his
on now.
His
Yeah.
walk to the camera. I mean, it fit the mood. Like it fit the mood of everything. So I mean, I didn't see anything that he did that brought down my excitement at all. And I know that it was 57 seconds, which was probably like 45 seconds of him, but whatever. Like nothing that he did, like ruined any excitement for me. So it was a great tease.
Yeah, Garrett, you got something? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so I watched it. So like I said, I watched it with my 3 oldest boys the first time, crowded around my phone, and they wanted to watch it a bunch more time. And our Mac is in my son's room. I'm in one of the boys' room. I'm thinking the other brother's room. And he said, "Can we watch it before bed?" You know, because he does these little programming things. He's a first grader. He's got this little book on how to program. It's nuts. So I'm like, "Yeah, bud." And it's a 4K monitor on that Mac, and it's pretty big. It's pretty good size. And I tell you what, man, what a difference from watching it on my phone to watching the video quality and picture quality there. If people out there have only watched it on their smartphone to this point, either find a way, and I think Haas mentioned this on the podcast too, find a way to either pull it up on a TV, or if you can have a laptop or a desktop with a decent sized monitor, check it out there, because at least I got a better idea of some of the details, and the stitching really pops, and the indent on the nose lower, that's where I could really see that. And that's where, you definitely see their eyeballs. My hopes have been dashed around lenses, but he's doing something with them, because this is an actor, so that's fine.
Yeah, you can kind of see his eyes are moving, and hopefully, he'll use them. I think Keaton was the best at that, even though I think he was the best at the using the eyes with the cowl.
He's got crazy eyes when he wants them.
Yes, absolutely. So we've just talked about a half hour about a 50-minute video clip, which and that's fine, and I think it shows how excited we all are to see this movie, and we know more is to come. Real quick, what are y'all looking forward to seeing next revealed? Batmobile, Catwoman, Penguin, whatever. What? Any real quick, Ryan? What would you like to see next? And we're not in a hurry, Matt Reeves. You can string us along, sir.
The Riddler.
Okay. All right, Garrett.
Show me the car. I'd like to see the car.
Chicks dig the car.
Yeah.
This is the chicks dig the car. This is sort of the progression. So maybe, excuse me, maybe we won't get the car next, because I feel like this has typically kind of been it. You get a shot of the costume at some level. You get a view of the car next, or maybe it's the two together. But those two are normally grouped pretty tightly. So maybe Reeves throws us a curveball and it's something else. I'd like to see the car. I am also very, very interested in Catwoman. So if it's not the car, show me what Selina's going to look like, and I'm going to be happy either way.
For me, it's the car. I want to see the new Batmobile. It's supposed to be a car, more of a muscle car type of thing. And based on what we saw with the costume, maybe this is more of a thrown together type deal as well, And I want to see what Colin Farrell looks like with the Penguin, you know?
Oh, yeah. That's interesting, too.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. All right, so there we go. Boys, it's been a great talk. You can tell if you're watching, we're very excited about this, and we're not worried that the red light. I never thought flipping not a Daredevil. I'm sorry, it never even crossed my mind. I just thought it was a cool color. Both my sons, my youngest lives with me. I've called him in there. He's watched it. He's watching it. He's watched it.
You walked in on him watching stuff.
No. I said, come here. Here. Look at this now.
Come on.
And I just watched this. What? What? And I said, just what? He goes, oh, it's Batman. And he's 18 years old. So, and then my oldest son, he's in the Air Force. He's a military police SWAT officer, Andrews Joint Base out in Maryland, around D.C., and I texted him the link of the Batman on Film story, and he texted me, I think, like 100 times that night. What do you think about this? And this is awesome. Then he texted me the next day saying, I'm showing everybody at work, at the base about this, And so we're, look, look who their dad is,
Right.
So
Yeah.
come on,
Apples
so
and trees and what have you.
So we're excited. All right, let's plug some stuff. Ryan, what you got to plug? Anything you want to?
Anything I want to.
You got your new your new podcast, right? Yeah, and go ahead.
The Curse of the White Knight reviews on BOF. I'm near launch time for the podcast, the Batman Book Club. Garret has already recorded an episode with me, and Bill will be a guest.
Absolutely.
Follow it on Twitter at the Batman BC. And then you can follow me, Lauer_Ryan on Twitter, spelled like lower. But all of my reviews are on BOF.
Very good. All right, Garret, anything new?
I had mentioned, I think the last time we got together, Justice League. I've been reviewing for about a year and a half. Scott Snyder run sort of, for me, ended on a downer. I wasn't that thrilled, and I was a little bit worried about it. And then issue 40 came back, and I'm really excited to see where this thing goes. It kind of turned me back around after having a bad taste in my mouth. So you can find those reviews at the site. If you would like to follow me on Twitter, I am at GARRETWATO. I talk a lot of Batman. I talk a fair amount of He-Man. That's a movie that's just getting into production now. It's going to be on Netflix, so that's super exciting. You'll get a lot of He-Man, Superman, and football. So if you like all those things, you'll enjoy following me. If you only like some of those things, well, just ignore the other ones, and you'll still have a fine time following me.
All right. Follow me on Twitter at Batman on Film, on Instagram at Batman on Film, I think. And that's actually Ryan Haas takes care of that part of the Instagram part of Batman on Film. Before we go, Ryan, you want to make your pitch, convince Garret to review the new metal series coming out?
Garret,
Death metal.
You've enjoyed Scott Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah, I have.
It might be right in your wheelhouse.
It could.
I respectfully decline as I emailed Bill because I reviewed metal, and I just said, feel free to pass along to someone else.
Yes.
My cup of tea.
If as we get more and more news, it's going to be more along the lines of bringing a satisfying conclusion to Justice Doom and that overarching story in Justice League, fine. But Snyder, man, come on. Let's reel it in just a little bit here, buddy. He's obviously super talented, and I love him as a writer, but it does get a little wild, man. It does get a little wild.
Yeah. Giving Grant Morrison a run for his money. All right, so let's get out of here. All right, so Ryan, it's your first time. You get to do the catchphrase with me on the way out. So here we go. Batman on Film, authoritative, definitive.
The Dadgum original.
All right, we'll catch you next time. And the Batman's coming. All right, see y'all later.